Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I got Brad Combs on to talk. We're 8 days out from XRP Las Vegas. Got Brad Combs to talk on. He's got some cool updates right here. Okay, I got Brad Combs from Digital Perspectives on to give us an XRP Las Vegas update. Go for it.
Hey, I got a great update. Thank you for having me, DAI. I just want to let everybody know, I talked to the Digital Chamber, who is hosting the Future of Digital Assets Benefit Dinner with Brad Garlinghouse, Christian Carlo, Congressman Wiley Nickel, Eleanor Terry, Perry Ann Boring, Digital Asset Investor, and me. Look, you got to come to this thing because we got breaking news. We're going to have a live band performance with Ronnie Nash from California. I'm bringing that artist in. I'm going to be playing drums on the event. The Honorable Christian Carlo is going to be playing guitar. And if you don't know, he's a damn fine guitar player. And I'm going to tell you, too, we've had a discount code in our private groups with a 25% discount for that ticket with Brad Garlinghouse Private Dinner. And now it's available for all of you. It's 589. Go get your ticket to that private dinner. Let's sell this thing out and help them raise some money.
So so we're clear, I'm looking at I'm on your website. I'm clicking on the fundraiser ticket. It's future to go get those tickets. Go to futureofdigitalassets.com, and then you can click on tickets. And when you're checking out, you just type in code. You just type in 589 to get that discount, right?
Absolutely.
That's for their dinner. Now tell us about XRP Las Vegas itself.
Well, let me tell you about XRP Las Vegas very quickly here because I don't want to take up a lot of time, but I want people to know that we were going to raise the price on April 25th, tomorrow. I've gotten so many messages from this amazing community saying, if you could just give us a couple more days, we were going to get our tickets on Friday. Well, you know what? I love this community. I love the people in this community, and we're not raising the prices. We're going to leave them where they are for the next several days. So now, what is very real, though, is what I've been saying and sharing is that there's multiple events happening around our event in the MGM Grand Conference Center. So I do not have the power if they tell me I have to stop selling tickets because there's no more room. And that is a very, very real possibility because I did not expect this to get this big, but it has, and we're pleasantly surprised.
All right, man. Well, it's 8 days, and I'm showing as you're talking. I'm looking at the XRPLasVegas.com, and you've still got a link there where they can book discount rooms, the link to the fundraiser ticket, and to buy your XRP Las Vegas tickets is all right there.
That's correct. And you can stay right on site with the best restaurants, the best entertainment, and you can walk directly to the conference from your room. It's going to be amazing.
All right, Brad, thanks for the update.
Thank you.
All right, there it is, code 589. There's no VIP tickets left, but there are some tickets to general admission, not many. Okay, saw this clip going around. This is from Rob Cunningham. I think Rob's coming to XRP Las Vegas. I think I saw him say he was going. Great guy. Check this out. This is from, I guess he got this from the Black Swan guy, Black Swan Capital guys.
Let me bring up a jackass principle. If we haven't seen the CBDC after 2 years of talk, do you think we ever will?
Nope.
No. If we haven't had acceptance by our allies of the U.S. version of the CBDC, do you think we ever will?
No.
No. Why haven't the BRICS talked about CBDCs in the last 6 months?
They said it's not going to work.
Because they're pretty certain that it won't work, and they'd rather just stick with de-dollarize and the ruble for that part of the world with, Eastern Europe and former Soviet republics, and with the Chinese yuan and the Pacific Rim and also the Persian Gulf, and then also OPEC nations, and then also the OPEC customer nations. That's de-dollarizing. I'm talking about Western Europe. They're de-dollarizing.
Interesting.
There's a BlackRock equivalent in France called Amundi, and it's $3 trillion asset under management. And they announced in July that they're going to remove all their dollar investments. They're divesting the dollar. This is what's going to happen to the client states for OPEC and the Persian Gulf oil and gas sales. Okay, so back to the point. The BRICS are de-dollarizing. The Russians have their ruble. The Chinese have the yuan, which is going to be far more used, and I believe will be a caretaker currency for a period of time. And we got other countries that are climbing on, like Venezuela, Indonesia, and Nigeria. They're not Arab, and they're de-dollarizing. They're saying we'll go with the Chinese yuan. Now, since China does not want country after country to hold Chinese government bonds, China's going to push them after a brief period of time of using the yuan for energy sales. China's going to push them into the gold token. China's going to push all the Persian Gulf and all the OPEC nations into using the gold token, and those who resist will get an option of using XRP. XRP is going to be like.
Folks, I'm not saying this guy's right. I'm just saying it's interesting to listen to, right?
Alternative gold solution. I believe the United States is going to go dragging, kicking, screaming, and killing. And they're not going to want the BRICS gold token, but they're going to accept the XRP, and they're going to tell the U.S. citizens that it's not gold backed, and they will lie. That's how XRP is going to be used. European nations will use it as a compromise. The United States might use it as a compromise. And wherever it gets used, you guys...
I have to tell you, folks, this is what I've been saying, is that I've always looked at XRP as like the great compromise. In other words, the United States knew that nobody maintains the world reserve currency status for forever. In fact, I think it's an average of like 100 years. And so I've always thought that maybe XRP was created as a bridge to be in a basket of currencies and be like a compromise. Like, okay, let us have the bridge currency to the world, and then we'll share the status, have some kind of shared status of the world reserve currency.
Not going to go away. It's going to grow and not go backwards.
Right.
And that's how it goes to $100, $200.
Uh-oh.
And maybe $500.
Uh-oh, now you're going to get, Jim, you had to go and now you're going to get the crypto police on us. Jim. Some people never learn. Crypto police are going to come. They're flashing
and it would be
lights,
backed by,
sirens blaring.
Pegged
by gold.
Some commodity backed by gold. Yes.
Russia has already announced back in July, you're going to block SWIFT usage for trade settlement. Will go to XRP as an alternative. Russia understands that XRP can act as a hot poker up the Anglo-American banker's ass.
I like that line. Okay, then we've got here, this is on the spot, Bitcoin Ethereum ETF in Hong Kong.
Advantages over here. But to kind of, also add to your second part of the question about how will this be as big as the U.S. market? I think that, obviously U.S. has the deepest ETF markets globally. And the big names like, the BlackRock and the Fidelities, as we know, are leading the Bitcoin, spot Bitcoin ETFs in the US. So in the absence of these big names in Hong Kong, it could be a little less. I mean, it could be actually a fraction of what US is seeing in terms of the size, the flows of the market. But it is nevertheless an important step by Hong Kong, which wants to be, a digital hub in Asia. So that's a very important, this is an important move in that respect.
All righty. And then here's another one that's interesting. They're talking about the future monetary system and interoperability.
That we've been piloting with our tokenized bond for the government. And one thing is, if you really want to scale that up, you need global standards, you need global platforms. What we're seeing now is almost like walled gardens with platforms that operate.
Who have we heard walled gardens from? That phrase. I think David Schwartz has talked about walled gardens.
Different firms, and they're not interoperable. And if you really want the tokenized asset world to take off, I thought one comment that we received is that can we have some kind of industry standard so that everybody complies with that, so that all these platforms become interoperable and it becomes one big marketplace. I think that's one thing that probably we might need to think more about.
If you're hearing any beeping that you've never heard on this channel, that's because my new washing machine was just installed. This means that the digital asset investor will be wearing clean clothes in Las Vegas. It was getting kind of hairy there. Look at this. SEC has asked New York court to impose $5.3 billion, a little over. So they're at a guy who was a complete fraud. They're asking for a little over half of what they asked from Ripple, which they did not even accuse of fraud. Can you say regulatory capture? Can you say SEC lawsuit used as a weapon? I didn't mean to get that one. Okay. This came out today that Biden has proposed the highest capital gains tax in more than 100 years, 44.6%. These people got to go, folks. This isn't good for anything having to do with America. Now, let me show you. I'm gonna in DAIXRP.com. I'm gonna show you're gonna want to see this because I'll bet you haven't seen it before. The first thing I want to point out to you is in right here. The IRS was formed in 1913. The Sixth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution was ratified, authorizing Congress to impose a tax on income and leading to the creation of the Bureau of Internal Revenue in 1953. It was renamed Internal Revenue Service. Okay? Then I wanted to show you this because both of these are relevant. This is Uptown Saul. He says, fact, as a retail, see, this is, I believe this is where all these negative people in the XRP community, and you got the negative and you got the positive. I consider myself to be positive about everything because I think there are bigger things at play, only for adults. I think that there's another half of the community that isn't, I think the other half that's negative comes into two camps. One is the children who just don't understand big picture things and they probably don't have very much business experience or worldly experience. And the other, I believe, are paid, a lot of them paid, not all, either paid people to intentionally come and say negative things about XRP, paid by other networks, who knows, or people who have a financial incentive to try to bash, like maybe a Bitcoin maxi who's a major Bitcoin holder and realizes XRP is the greatest threat to Bitcoin. I think it's kind of, that part splits off into those two. There's a lot of bad guys out there, but I think most of them are paid bad guys if I had to put my money on it. Now, I want you to see what Saul's saying here, because I think that Saul is making a point that separates the adults from the children and the bad guys. Fact, as a retail XRP holder, you've been used. Question to think about. To what end have you been used? I don't know the answer for sure, but I encourage you to think deeply and consider all the potential nuances of the situation, of which there are many. Now, see, when I get what he's saying here, a lot of people would say, oh, we've been used, and they'd get mad. I don't get mad by that at all. I believe that if you were going to have anything like XRP that was going to be a major part of the financial system, that you would have to have retail as a testing ground. Now, does that mean that they're going to test it with XRP and then they're all going to abandon it? Well, Ripple's got a good many $1 billion worth of reasons why that's not happening, folks. This is an asset. If you think this through, Ripple holds a bunch of this asset, XRP, a lot of which will be used, but it's also an asset, and they have a cost basis in a lot of that's almost zero. Now, historically, people that have assets with that kind of a cost basis, a lot of times they don't sell those assets. Like, you can go back and look at people that are large holders of major stocks. They never sell the stocks if their cost basis is low enough. A lot of these wealthy families. Anyway, the point is, they live off of their holdings, but in other words, they'll lend them out, or they'll borrow money against those assets, that kind of thing. I believe that's where Ripple's going. Sounds almost like a central bank, doesn't it? But I want to address, two things. I'm going to bring the IRS into this conversation, and I'm going to bring CBDCs, and I'm going to bring the Federal Reserve. We're going to do all that in DAI XRP, and I'm going to show you today. You're not going to want to miss DAIXRP.com, because I'm going to tell you the reason I've always been positive, and I'm going to show you something I don't think any of you have ever seen before, not up close and personal the way you're about to. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family, if you've been used as a retail XRP holder, why? See, this is the part that a lot of these bad guys, they want to point to it as if it's nefarious. Oh, you've been used. They tricked you and all this. I say that's a bunch of BS. I have a completely different viewpoint, and we will go into it in DAIXRP.com. Here we go.